You may remember my video about the mysterious chained oak tree near Alton Towers. If not, go check it out. In that video I mentioned that this local legend was also used to some degree in a ride at Alton Towers. Well, that would be HEX, the Legend of the Towers. Join me in this video as we take a look behind the scenes at this illusion-based dark ride that tells the story of the chained oak tree and its association with the 15th Earl of Shrewsbury. We will be looking at the ride with the lights turned on fully, showing all the features that you don't always see in its dark setting, and also venturing into the ride warehouse to see how the illusion of the main vault works. HEX opened at the park in the year 2000. The concept for the ride began as a story based on the towers themselves, later included the chained oak after it was brought to their attention by an employee at the park. Designed with a budget of £4 million, which included £2 million for the restoration of the rooms within the towers and £2 million on the ride system and theming needed to bring it to life. Now, I won't tell you everything that we learnt on the tour, as you can see it for yourselves if you take a behind the scenes tour. See a link in the description below for details on that. We started by entering the queue line that previously housed a gift shop. In here you can see various fake set pieces mixed in with actual artifacts recovered from within the towers themselves. Like this bell used inside one of the towers, and these original decorated doors that still show the paintwork on the rear side. This stained glass window was recreated in 1999 by the same company that made the original windows for the towers. We had a brief look at the recently upgraded pre-show operator's console. This is where they control the pre-shows for the ride and dispatch the groups inside. And now we enter the first pre-show room. This is still utilising the old gift shop footprint and needed some work to be carried out in order to use it as part of the ride, along with a fake painting of the 15th Earl of Shrewsbury, even though there are no known paintings of the Earl himself. And then we moved into the Projector Room, where the story of HEX and the chained oak begins. The video is based on the local legend, until the point where it says, "But the story didn't end there." Then Alton Towers added their own twist on the tale to fit the ride. We then ventured into the most impressive part of the pre-show, known as the Octagon. This section of the ride takes part in what was an abandoned room at the towers, needing a roof and also lots of expensive restoration work. The central column that holds up the roof had to be fully restored and built from pieces of rubble on the ground. Anything not used on the ride from the original ruins must be kept on site and never destroyed, just in case it is ever needed in future restorations. Most of these items are dotted around the ride as part of the theming, but they are original pieces from within the towers. Anything added in here as part of the ride must be removable should the ride come to the end of its life, and cannot be embedded in any of the fabric of the towers, hence the scaffolding and temporary sections. This is the final room used in the towers, known as the bookcase room. This is also where the restoration work stopped, with the roof being a temporary structure, as we will see from outside shortly. Something that I'd never noticed in the dark lighting before, but the bookcase has scratches painted onto the floor to show where it would have been moved. It's also at this point where we head out into a fake wooden corridor that leads to the ride system finale. Everything from this point onwards is built inside a fake temporary structure, away from the towers themselves, hence why you take a sharp turn to the left. All of this is removable should the ride be removed, and was built on an old staff car park area. You can tell how it changes when you can knock on the wood panels, but it's also very convincing to the general public. At this point we headed inside the control box for the ride, but we weren't allowed to film inside. Some things have to be kept secret and under wraps. and then we headed outside and behind the magic. Here you can see the large building to the right that houses the HEX ride system. And to the left is the fake corridor exiting the Towers building. If you look beyond, you can also see where the bookcase room has a fake temporary roof. It abruptly ends where the restoration work had stopped. Thanks to Sean Sambrook for this one. And now, the piece de resistance. Inside the large warehouse that holds the large drum for the rotating room illusion. If you've been on HEX, you will know that the finale is a large vault that can seat 78 riders. It offers the illusion of rotating upside down. And it's based on the Victorian haunted swing illusion. The room moves around the seats, and with no reference point, you truly believe that you are rotating, but the seats do actually move by 15 degrees in either direction. And that's just to add to the illusion with some movement. We are now stood behind the rotating room and looking at the large steel structure that holds the room inside. The room is a lot bigger than you can imagine, and I would recommend the tour for this alone. Built into a deep concrete pit to keep the room level with the corridor, it can be accessed from all sides to maintain and inspect the ride system. And powered by 4 motors on each of the 4 corners, in order to make the drums spin and rotate the room around the riders. It can also be manually cranked if needed, should the motors have no power. All the power outlets for the lighting and effects for the ride are located on the outside of the drum. The power comes from large cables that run down the inside of the rotating section and not using electrical contacts. This means that the cables twist as the ride rotates, so they mustn't be rotated over 360 degrees more than once. Hence why the room rotates back and forth to untangle them. It was also mentioned that should the ride ever be removed or closed, it was in the original planning permission that no other ride was allowed to replace it. All parts of the ride would have to be completely removed and put back to how it was before. We did note on the rotation counter that the ride has rotated a total number of 181,000 times since it was built. The slew ring in the centre of the ride is also what controls the movement of the seats inside the drum. It is this that became troublesome in replacement parts, and had to be repaired at great cost by the park themselves. Modern Vekoma madhouse rides no longer have this part, and only the early examples do. And now into the ride vault itself. You can see how large this is from the inside, not realising that you're inside a large rotating drum and inside a warehouse behind the towers. All the theming and lighting inside here has to be mounted and fixed static due to the rotation that occurs. Most of this is made out of lightweight fiberglass and is thematically painted to look like props to reduce the weight load. We were then treated to the ride sequence inside the vault without any movement. The ride itself was locked off by padlocks whilst we were on the tour. It was strange to see the sequence with the vault doors open and no rotation. And finally down the exit corridor that is also fake and located directly beneath the entry corridor and back into the real historic towers at basement level. It was great to see this ride from a different point of view, especially after riding it so many times, and the fact that it links with the local legend of the chained oak and the historic towers themselves is an added bonus that only enhances the ride. It also brings my video on the chained oak to a conclusion, as I was able to show the ride linked to it and how the illusion operates. A big thank you to the operating staff, the tour guides and marketing for inviting us down to experience this. We even got a souvenir certificate and exclusive pin badge for doing so. I would highly recommend doing the tour if you get a chance. It is different to all the other tours that the park run, because most of what you get to see is actually hidden away, and it's something that is truly behind the scenes. All the details for the tour can be found in the video description below, or you can head to the Alton Towers website and find it for yourselves. If you liked the video, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more great content. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.